Hi guys! Today we're gonna be talking about sex.
Sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things. Baby, let's talk about sex.
So yes, it's that topic that's difficult for some couples to meet head on. And you know, when me and Jazz were dating, this was another topic that we spoke about quite in depth, because we're quite lucky.
You're not going to get all the juicy details, I will promise you that though.
No, you're not.
Yeah, this is not going to be like X-rated or nothing. Let's just get that right. This is an awkward subject, being an Indian boy.
Yeah, exactly. And so don't even ask for all the gory details, because there's going to be none coming. So when we're dating, me and Jazz, we're quite lucky that we're very observant, right? And again, like we mentioned before, we worked with like hundreds of people. So when you watch people and you see sort of like
things that are going on within
and things that keep sort of like repeating themselves with different types of people, you sort of like start learning that, you know what, this is actually maybe a problem that happens quite often. And we observed quite a lot of cheating, didn't we?
Yeah.
Especially after babies were born.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't learn from your own mistakes, so if you've been in a relationship and you've ruined it because of that,
learn.
You need to learn. It's only a mistake if you don't learn. If you learn, then that's it. It's fine to make that mistake, because hopefully you'll never do it again. But also you need to learn from other people's mistakes, which I've always been good at.
And me too. So it's
in
like
regards,
very good.
In regards to like, obviously the topic of sex, we were just saying that we did discuss that. Look, obviously at the start of your relationship, you're going to be lusting each other a lot more. You're gonna be going. It's a honeymoon period. You're only seeing each other 2 or 3 times a week. So when you see each other, you can't keep your hands off each other. Right? So, but what you have to remember is someone might actually have more of a higher sex drive than you.
Exactly.
So at that point, once you've been together, say 6 months, a year, maybe a bit longer, at that point, or maybe once you have kids, things might slow down a bit, and you have to understand that it's more about quality, not quantity.
Exactly.
So it's
for those like in long-term relationships and like for
married
people who are getting married. You just need to, like you just said,
you need to discuss this.
It's quality over it's quantity.
It's quality over quantity is what she's trying to say. It's a tongue twister for her. So
doesn't take much.
I mean, things that can affect your actual sex life might be work and stress.
That's it.
So you need to remember that you need to discuss this, because your job role could change, your shift work times could change. So you're not seeing each other as often as what you were. So someone might be more tired. So you need to then, obviously before that, have discussed that, look, what if things change within our working relationships, that working time frames, how would we then make time for each other to actually have intimacy? Because
because if you don't have intimacy, then the relationship is going to sort of like,
and you're going to start
especially when you're younger,
you're going to start looking for it within other people. So from a female side to other men, and from a male side, you're going to start looking at other females, because you're not getting that affection at home anymore. And it's probably because you never really discussed it, and maybe like I said, you've got a higher sex drive than the other person, and you need to like discuss these things and make time for each other. So making time for each other could just be making sure you have like a day where you decide that day you're definitely gonna
spend
be
some
together.
Quality time.
You're gonna go out on a date together.
Make
and
it exciting.
This is without kids.
You
make it exciting. You're gonna go out, then you're gonna come back and spend some quality time together.
Exactly.
So that's important to discuss. You
Definitely.
need to understand that.
And then like one thing that we find as well is most couples don't talk about once kids come along. I think like most ladies will agree with me that definitely the sex life changes, because especially at the beginning, you know, like towards the end of the pregnancy, and when you've just had the baby, like I had a C-section with Havana, and then we had the complication with Phoenix, so it takes like a couple of weeks to get back to normal. So you've already got the time towards the end of the pregnancy that you're not doing anything, and then on top of it you've probably got like 6 weeks on top after the baby's born that you're not doing anything. So the husband needs to understand that there could be like 2-3 months, who knows, where there's nothing going on. and give your long-term boyfriend, husband, whatever it is, a heads up, like this is what happens
once we start having kids.
So
if you've got a problem, you need to like then come forward,
step up and tell me, like, you know, babe, I'm feeling neglected, or I'm feeling, you know, and then I can reassure and say, honey,
look, I'm gonna recover.
I just need time. And sometimes like we notice a lot where young couples, when the baby came along, like within the first year especially, loads of like men cheating.
That's just through pregnancy. Once a woman was pregnant, they even began.
Exactly, Some of them just, the baby, the wife is pregnant, and they've already
even
begun.
at that point and after. And again, they're probably not. There's obviously a problem there in the relationship. We're not the ones to judge what it is. It may be just that they haven't communicated with each other.
Exactly.
But
for me, it was very important that Jazz knew, and that he understood that. Listen, hon, I've got older sisters, so I know, and this is what happens. So when we have the baby, you need to understand that there might be some dry periods. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean anything. It's just that.
Yeah, you were really open about that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I really wanted, like, just to understand as much as possible, like the psychology of like having a baby. My body's changed. I'm probably a bit fatter. I'm probably just not feeling sexy anymore. And there's a lot of things that I'm dealing with as a woman. So like, you just need to give me time to adjust to being, you know, a mom and stuff like that. So I mean,
because I found a lot of young couples that were having kids, and when the guy was cheating, it's not saying the guys cheat, because at some point in the relationship the female might cheat, but I found that the guy's excuse was that he felt neglected.
Yes.
Or I feel, my missus wasn't giving me a lot of attention.
She was like looking after the baby. I felt alone.
I mean, in all honesty, I never really understood that. I thought then, do you know what it is? Your relationship, something's not right there, because obviously your relationship's all physical. There's nothing mental there. Like, because after the physical side of when you get together and all that, you're attracted to the actual mental side of that person.
That's it, exactly.
Their soul. You're attracted to them. It's their mind that you really love, innit?
Like, just sitting in bed, like pillow talk and stuff like that. That is bonding. It doesn't have to be a physical thing. And if you can spend time just like chatting and feeling connected that way, then you might have more of a problem. But
because you're not actually, as I said, discussing these issues, and you're not before they happen. And you're not actually during saying, look, are you alright? You know, like, I hope you don't mind what's going on, but obviously you need to understand. Because usually it's the guy that at that point is struggling when the kids come along.
Exactly.
And also once they start growing up and the kids are there, 1 or 2 or 3 kids like we have, we still make time for each other. And that might be that you arrange to have the kids looked after by a babysitter, an au pair. Might cost you £20, £10 an hour for a couple of hours for a babysitter to take them out to the park during the day, maybe when you're together.
And then that's you could give you time to get busy in the bedroom. But there is lots of ways to keep the flames alive, because I was like, another thing with friends and stuff like that, we're saying like, oh, you know, once the baby's come along, I never feel like I have time to myself with my partner and stuff like that, because the baby is always there. Not everyone has got a luxury of having mum and dad where you can drop the kids off for the weekend. Not everyone has that luxury.
But if you do, that's a great bonus. You should definitely take advantage
definitely
of that.
Use that. I definitely would.
For like getting your groove on.
Exactly, definitely. And then if you haven't got mum and dad, it doesn't mean like you have to stop. There's still other ways, like just mentioned. Hire a babysitter. Okay, it must cost you some money, but that's money that you could look like you're investing into your relationship, because it's keeping you closer together, it's keeping you bonded, it's keeping
people
both
don't look at it
partners
like
happy.
That.
They think, oh no,
why are you wasting money?
Why are wasting like £20 on a babysitter?
But it's actually you spending quality time with your partner.
That's it, and you're saving your relationship, right?
Exactly.
Definitely. So there's definitely ways around it, or other ways if you're lucky and you have a really good baby. Like Phoenix was always good from when he was very young. He slept really well. So then he gave me and Jazz time to do whatever we needed to do as a couple.
It's important to have a routine for the child, because maybe if they just have a good routine, then things will improve by the time they say hit 6 months, 1 year.
Exactly.
And at that point they're sleeping 7 till 7. And you've got plenty of time
there's
together.
no problems.
It's not like you don't have time together. So you need to think about these things as well.
But definitely planning and thinking way ahead, like we always say, like before anything happens, is really a good way of stopping being shocked when something happens. Because if you're aware of something and then it happens,
you're not shocked. And you don't
Isn't
start making excuses
like, oh, I didn't know.
And your actions don't change, and you don't blame that as the reason for your action changing, whether it be cheating or flirting or whatever you're doing.
Yeah. So we're like, we just really wanted to touch on this topic, on how we dealt with it, because it's one of those topics that, again, people don't really talk about, and we wanted to talk about it in an adult way and be as constructive as possible, because we feel like this is an area that people like struggle with quite a lot, especially after the babies are born. We've seen so many people struggle with it after the babies are born, but there's definitely ways around it. It doesn't have to be the be and end all, because half the couple, after the baby is 2 or 3, they get back together again, and it's like, well, that's exactly, you just felt neglected for 6 months, wherever it is. You could have been man enough to,
and you've kind of like tainted your relationship. And you don't need to do that.
It's never going to be the same again, is it?
Because at the end of the day, the way I look at it is, I want my relationship to be based on just respect.
Yes, and trust.
And people respecting my relationship, not things like that. It's not the same after that, once that happens.
Exactly. If you cheat, it's never going to really be the same, because the trust is very difficult to get back again. So guys, that was our points of views on the subject of sex, and it's something that you definitely need to make sure that you're very open about with your partner. Don't make it a taboo subject, because it doesn't have to. You know, you don't want your marriage or relationship to fall just because you're too shy to talk about it. We're all adults.
Or you think you might shock your partner by talking about it.
It's not like that. So I think most men actually appreciate having their heads up of like, look, this is what changes. My body's gonna change. I'm not gonna feel the same and stuff like that. So give me a chance to get back to myself. So if you've got any tips that you want to share that work for you, we definitely would love to hear them. So please do leave them in the comment section below. Other than that, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your family or friends. Again, we really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in our next video.
And share the video with your family and friends.
Definitely. See you guys. Bye. So today we're going to be talking about communication.
Which we obviously are very good at.
I think we've spoken about communication so many times. You probably guys are tired of hearing us saying about communication. But really, if there is probably one thing we could say
for the whole month,
that
we're going to talk about relationship tips, marriage tips, communication is probably part of all of it.